in the mid-90s, well, about 97, I started my own label, a record label. And so this is a vinyl label based in the UK. So basically I contacted a vinyl distributor in the UK who were distributing a lot of records that I liked at the time. Contact them, and I sent them a few tracks that I was working on and some other friends were working on. They said, yeah, it sounds good. So we really set up our own label, and at the time you had what were called P&D deals, and pressing and distribution deals. It was very favourable for small labels, whereas they would pay for the pressing costs up front, and then they would buy the records off you at of course a slightly inflated price. So there was no money in it, zero money at all. But for someone on this side of the world, where of course the market for this music was Europe, Europe and the States. So yeah, and we were just, of course, here we're packaging what we thought as a release, a record, designing the artwork, sending the artwork and the music off. They would press up the vinyl. It was all manufactured in Europe. It was all sold throughout the world. It had to be, of course, imported here.
I only realised recently some of my favourite 12s from years ago, actually. That's
I saw that in the email. Yeah. That's funny. So, I mean, that was fantastic. I mean, there was no scene here really for this type of music. So the focus was overseas, and the focus was there's amazing music in Europe. Let's get over there. So that label did all right, and it had in retrospect, it had an individual sound, and that when I travel to Europe now and I meet producers of a similar vintage, they were aware of those records, and I put the label kind of ended in 2002, 2003. I had a second distribution company, went bankrupt. You lose all your stock and all your royalties again, and I just, I'm done with it. But certainly, I'd done the releasing thing. That was no problem. But then I kind of was licking my wounds for a couple of years back here, and working on new music. And then, Phil's just walked in, but Phil released my first record, which had been the first record in quite a while. Phil runs a label, Curl, which is based in Germany. So he's basically doing what I was doing with Nurture. Same thing. He organises music, the releases, does the artwork from here. It's all pressed in Europe and distributed from Europe. And yeah, I don't know how. I again a fan of my earlier Nurture records. Is an artist on a label called Poker Flat, and he played the A&O, the owner of that label, some tracks from that kind of era, and he contacted me. And then again, another label that is associated with Phil's label, based in Germany, they also heard some tracks that Phil had sent them. So, well, I hadn't actually sent out any demos at all. I don't know, it got heard. There must have been something all right about it, I guess. People seem to want to release. So it's been a really good last few years. I've had quite a few vinyl releases, and
it's also the passion that drives you to do it.
I just love doing. I just love sitting at home making music, and so of course being able to release on European labels, and particularly some, I guess, more high-profile labels, allows you the chance to go and play live over there, which is amazing, because the scenes are so well developed, and the crowd is generally really well informed. At places where people know the music, they've got the releases, they actively go out because they want to hear particular artists. A reason why I got to love this stuff, because I went out and I heard music as a teenager, as a 16 or 17-year-old, which just blew my mind. It was like, what is this music? And I think if we can get some more interesting artists down here doing the same thing, there'll be kids doing exactly the same thing, and that will of course lead on further down the track. It's again, it just all comes down to loving the style of music, or whatever style of music you're doing. And for me as a musician, I just love making it, and I love hearing new music which blows my mind. And as a DJ, I'm not really DJing so much anymore, but did for a long time, 10, 12 years. And so again, it was about hearing it, it's an amazing piece of music, and you want to play it to people. You want to blow other people's minds how it got used.
So what's happened to the other guys that were on Nurture back in the day? Still producing it all?
Yeah, Leighton. He is a really amazing producer. He records under a few different aliases: Epsilon Blue, Rota Plus. Leighton's still making music. Yeah. Another artist, Denver McCarthy. I'm not sure if he's really making music anymore. But again, Denver was in the mid '90s was a reason why a lot of people got into this type of music, and a very, very talented musician. Matt Cleland again is producing. Hopefully, we'll be sending out demos. Really a super talented producer. Yeah, but that was all. It was just the four of us. Yeah. I think so.